All right, for this lesson, we're going to talk specifically about a lot of interesting words and phrases that are specifically related to TV and entertainment. So it can be the entertainment industry, so the business side as well as the consumer side. So if you're watching things or listening to things, you're a consumer. You are consuming entertainment. But I think in this lesson you'll enjoy as I cover not only this vocabulary but also introduce some patterns of speech that really will help you understand not only for this because you can use these speech patterns no matter what you're talking about. So we'll give some examples of this and I'll weave this all together. I like to do the Fluency Corner lesson as kind of a bit more of a story so you can hear how things are connected to each other, but there will be lots of individual words and phrases as well. So if you're ready, let's begin. First, listen carefully to this whole phrase. Those who have read the book know that. Those who have read the book know that. Now, this is just a kind of one phrase here that you would practice and natives would use this all as one thing, but we can exchange the words depending on what we're talking about. So those who have read the book, so if we're talking about reading a book, those who have read the book know that the main character dies in the end. So that's the full sentence. But if we're just talking about this thing, those who have done something know something else, or have done something else, or do something else. So those who have, so the people who have done something, or people who have read this book, or people who have seen this movie. This is a way of talking about the inside of a group. So you're kind of contrasting the people who have done something like this and the people who have not. So those who have been to Japan know that people use chopsticks there when they're eating. I mean, actually, a lot of people use forks as well, but just as a kind of example of this, you can see how I'm talking about something. Those who have been to Disney World know that it's a magical place with lots of cute characters running around. So those who have been know something. So those who have done something or those who have been to some place. But you'll hear this in the conversation. I wanted to just highlight this whole thing as one phrase so you can practice using it. So when you're learning things like this from me, try to take a phrase and then replace even just one or two words and then try to make it about something else. So if we're talking about books, those who have read this book know that it's really difficult to read. Those who have played this game know that it can be a lot of fun. So you see, I'm just taking the same phrase, and this is how you get yourself used to different grammatical structures when you want to speak, and it doesn't really matter what you're speaking about because you practiced using them again and again in different ways. The grammar doesn't change, it's just the different vocabulary that we use with the grammar. So remember this as you're going through these different phrases. Next, I explained in the phrase builder lesson, or I explained in the phrase builder lesson where we have, it's one of those things where. It's one of those things where. So this is a similar expression, it's gotten to the point where, or it's gotten to the point when. So the point, we're talking about a specific time when something happens. Maybe I'm reading a book or I'm watching a movie, I'm watching a TV show, and a friend of mine says, well, what's happening? My mom used to do this all the time. My dad and I would be watching some movie and then my mom would come out in the middle of it and say, what's happening? It doesn't make any sense. And we would say, what are you doing here? Why are you asking questions about that? But you could just say, well, we're at the point when, or we're at the point where something happens. You can say when or where, and the meaning is basically the same, but the slight difference is we're talking about time with when, and we're talking about a place with where. But really, they mean exactly the same thing. So I'm at the point in the story where, I'm at the point in the story when the main hero is fighting the villain. So it's near the end of the movie or the book or the TV show, and it's at the point where something happens. So I'm trying to describe something, but it's at the point, or it's gotten to the point where, and again, you can talk about this using this same idea in your everyday life too. So if you say, well, I've been working really hard at home and like the family is really busy, we have too many things to do, it's gotten to the point where I've had to hire somebody. So I have to hire somebody to help, like, take my kids to school and do other things like shopping because we're just too busy. So it's gotten to the point where, or it's gotten to the point when, and again, we're meaning these in the exact same way, but you'll often hear both of them. So it's gotten to the point where something happens. It's gotten to the point when something happens. Next, in order to do something. Now listen to how this blends. In order to, in order to. So I'm doing something for the purpose of something else. So I'm reading this book in order to pass my test. So I'm reading this book in order to study, Now you'll notice again, when I say to, especially if I'm saying it quickly, it becomes more of a duh sound. In order to study, in order to pass my test. So listen carefully for little things like that. If you're reading the transcript, especially I recommend if the audios or the videos are a little bit difficult for you, take your time to read the transcript first. And that way, when you're preparing for that, you'll get a lot of good examples of something where it says T-O for to, but Drew said duh. In order to. So in order to finish off the season, usually for a TV show, we have like the length of a TV show for 1 year, and it could be for a summer or the fall or whatever, however long it is. Like the last season of Game of Thrones is only 6 episodes long. So it's only a very short period of time, like a month and a half. And a little bit different in British television shows. Usually they call a season in the United States, which means like a television show will have, first season, second season, third season. But they'll call this a series in the UK, which is really interesting. Usually we use the term series in the United States as the whole program. So the series is called Game of Thrones, and it has different seasons. So each year there's a new season of something, but the series is the name of the program. So just a little bit of something different between the UK and the US. Next, related to this, shooting the final season. So we're talking about Game of Thrones at this part in the conversation. It's gotten to the point in the conversation where we're talking about shooting the final season of Game of Thrones. So to shoot something, just like you're shooting it with a camera, right now I am shooting this video for you. So you will watch it later when I release this episode or this set of lessons. But to shoot something, this is how we describe making a video, or even taking pictures. You're shooting some pictures. So shooting film or just taking a video like this can be shooting a movie. Next, Alex described epic shots. So we have that shooting idea, again, taking pictures or taking a movie, shooting pictures, shooting a movie. I'm shooting a movie at my friend's house, and it's an epic movie. So epic just means great or grand or vast, and you'll hear this actually a lot in conversations. It's interesting, actually, I think you can still go to, where is that? I think there's a way to search word frequency of use in Google, and it will actually show you if words are increasing in popularity or decreasing in popularity. So a few years ago, people started using the word epic. Man, this is really epic. So epic meaning very cool or amazing or grand or something, but now it's really used by a lot of people, and it's almost kind of losing its popularity as a cool word for younger people. So you don't really hear epic so much anymore. Here's a great conversational phrase for when this happens. This is called something being played out. So when something is played out, it means it was done too much. It was overdone, like people saying everything is epic. Oh, wow, that party was epic. That movie was epic. Even though we're not really using the regular meaning of epic anymore, which is just kind of really great or vast or long or big, something like that. But listen for these things in conversations. And if you hear more people kind of in younger movies, or movies for young people and teenagers, that kind of vocabulary, it's usually popular now, but in a few years it will not be popular anymore. Next, you'll hear Alex talking about pressure from authors or publishers or producers, or publishers or producers. Now, when we're talking about pressure from people, there's the literal physical pressure like this, where you're pushing on something. And then we have the figurative idea of pressure, where you're trying to get people to do something. So you're trying to motivate them to do something. I'm putting pressure on people because I want them to behave in a certain way. And so the same thing with people who are making a movie. They have different people that are saying, one person says you should do this in the movie, another person says you should do this other thing. So there's pressure from different groups. Next, to be faithful to a book or a movie or a TV show. Usually the first example of something, it could be a book or a comic book. Then you, if that becomes popular, release something like a movie or a TV show. And this is when you see on books at bookstores, like now a major motion picture or now a major TV show or something like that. But when people have a beginning of a story that's from a book or a TV show or something, and then it moves to a different medium, like a comic book or a TV show or a movie, people will ask, well, is it similar or different? Or really just the perfect conversational expression for this is it faithful to the book? So is the Game of Thrones TV show faithful to the Game of Thrones books? So in some ways they are, in some ways they are not. I am not an expert, so I can't really tell you because I have not read the book. So it's only from what I hear from other people. Some things are similar or the same in the books, so they are faithful. You can say it's a faithful adaptation. To adapt something, like to adapt a book to a movie or a TV show. A faithful adaptation. Next, to ghostwrite something, a ghostwriter. So a ghostwriter, and again, you'll hear the British English ghostwriter and the American English ghostwriter. Ghostwriter. So a ghostwriter, this is a really cool term for someone who is not the actual author on the cover of the book. So someone else is usually hired to write one. Usually famous people who don't have a lot of time to write a book, but they want to have a book, they will get someone else to write that book for them, and then they will put their name on it. So Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, that was written by somebody else, and lots of famous people have books that are written by other people as well. They are written by ghostwriters. Next, the finale. Now you hear finale or finale as well, but finale is just the regular conversational way in American English of saying this, and it's the final episode of something, usually a TV series, so all the many years of something. You will have the season finale, that's the last episode of that year, or you will have the series finale, which is the last episode of the entire TV show. So listen for this in the conversation as well. Next, to take a page from something. To take a page from. Now, if I take a page from something, it's like I take a page out of a book and put it into my book. So if I'm writing something, I like the way this story sounds here, I'm going to write it in my book as well. So this is the more literal idea of copying something like that or doing something that's similar to what other people have done. And you can use this for anything. So not just writing things or even books, but when you're talking about like one company started doing something and other companies took a page from that company and started doing that same thing. So if I start, maybe I'm a regular restaurant and coffee is not popular yet, I decide I'm going to start selling coffee. And then people say, wow, coffee is really starting to be popular and it's selling well at my restaurant, so other people copy what I do. They're taking a page from my restaurant. Next, to be keen for. Now, this is a slightly different thing. You'll hear the Australian English. Americans don't really say we're keen for something. We understand what it means, but usually you hear excited about or looking forward to something. And these are expressions that Australians and Brits understand as well. But to be keen about, usually this is more of a British or Australian way of saying that you're excited about something. But listen for these differences in the way we speak. Next, to crank something out. Now we have a physical idea of a crank. This is where you're turning something. Usually there's some kind of click sound. Click, 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 click. I'm cranking something. And when I crank, usually I'm trying to move something or create something or push something out of something when I'm making a product with a machine, but I can take this literal idea and use it for making movies or TV shows or other things like that. And I'm really cranking something out. So I'm cranking things out. I'm sending a lot of these things, producing a lot of TV shows, just like Marvel is making a lot of movies and TV shows as well. Maybe they think they won't be so popular in the future, so they want to get them all out now while they're all still popular. So Marvel is really cranking out these movies and TV shows to crank something out. Now again, you can use this for really anything. If I had to work really hard on a paper, I was cranking it out last night, so I was working on lots of pages, typing up lots of information. I had to crank out a lot of work. Next, here's a great question you can use just in the beginning of a conversation or in the middle. Maybe if the conversation is getting a little bit slow and you want to change the topic, you can just say, what are you watching right now? What are you watching right now? Now, right now doesn't mean at this moment. It just means in general around this time. So if I'm talking with a friend, he and I are sitting there and we're not watching anything at that moment, but I can say, what are you watching right now? So if I'm talking about like a movie or maybe a TV show or something like that, usually we're talking about a movie or talking about a TV show because it's something that comes on again and again for a particular season. So I can say, what are you watching right now? Or another question could be, have you seen anything good lately? So if you are looking for, number one, a way to get other people speaking in the conversation, and number two, a way to get other people to give you recommendations for shows, you can say, oh, do you know of anything good? Or have you seen anything good lately? So have you seen anything good on lately? You can also ask, what's good on right now? So what's good that's on right now? So what's a good TV show on right now? So on right now, again, it doesn't mean right now. Maybe it means like if you're actually looking at the television and wanting to find something, but you can just ask people in general, like what's a good TV show to watch? Next, you'll hear both it's based on something and based off something. Now, to be based on something, again, this is that idea of having a like an original story in a comic book or book, and then you have that adapted into a TV show, so it becomes that, and we can say, oh, is this movie or TV show based on something else? So you hear people using both. Is it based on or based off something? It doesn't really matter. Usually you'll hear based on a little bit more than based off, but it doesn't matter. People understand what you're talking about either way. Next, cinematography. Cinematography. Now, if you want to learn more about specific terms from movies, you can certainly watch videos on YouTube about the art of cinema. So you're talking about physically, how do we make a movie? What are we talking about for producing the film or actually shooting the particular movie? So you can get to very specific things, even like types of camera lenses or ways that you're shooting, or certain movie cuts. Like a jump cut is when you quickly jump to something else. Cinematography is just where we're taking the photography or the way that certain scenes should look for movies. So usually someone will go out and try to figure out what's a good way to, like this is a really good scene for producing this movie. I think we might have some good movie shots taken here, and so that's good cinematography. If you watch the Academy Awards TV show, so this is the yearly award show for people in movies, they will have awards for people like sound design or cinematography or costume design, other things like that. And you can learn more about that because they usually show some kind of movie or explain about these things. So if you really like watching, especially movies, I recommend you watch the Academy Awards. Next, you'll also hear us talking about a TV universe or a cinematic universe, and this idea was created by Marvel, where they are having not just one movie, but they're going to have a whole series of movies which create a universe together. So just like we live in the universe, there's the Earth and the planets and, you know, the whole space all around us. So this is the universe that we live in. But it's the same thing with an idea like movies or TV shows. And so now after Marvel has done this, other companies like DC, which is another comic book company, they're trying to do the same thing. So they have a Superman movie and a Batman movie and then try to put Batman and Superman in the movie together. And it hasn't seemed to be as successful as Marvel's cinematic universe. Next, to bring someone back. Now, I mentioned this again earlier. When you're bringing something back from a different location or bringing something back, you can also call this a callback to something where you're referencing a particular idea, where maybe you have a character from an older TV show and now you make that TV show again. You bring that character back, or the actual actor who played that character, you bring him back as a different character. You'll hear like the original the actor who played the Flash in the 90s TV show The Flash. Now he is the father of the current Flash character, so they brought him back. Now you'll also hear people, when we're describing this in the conversation, talking about a nod to something else. So like to nod your head, it means you're acknowledging, you're noticing something. I'm going to nod my head about something. So when something gives a nod to something else, it's a callback to a particular thing. Where like you'll see this in movies or even video games as well. These are called Easter eggs, where it's hiding something in the movie or the TV show or the video game that maybe some people who knew about the previous version, or they know a bit more about the comic book version or something, they know about that. So this character, maybe he wears a special green belt, or he drinks a certain kind of juice or something like that in the comic book. So they will have the character doing that same thing that's not really important to the story, but it's just a little thing, an Easter egg, a nod to the comic book. So as an example, there was like the Planet of the Apes movie that came out, I think in the early 2000s, the one with Mark Wahlberg. So it was just called The Planet of the Apes, but they had Charlton Heston, who was also in the original Planet of the Apes movies back, wow, that was a long time ago, like the 70s, I think those came out. But so they had the Charlton Heston came back as one of the apes in the new movie. So that's kind of an Easter egg or a nod to the previous movies. Now, usually in most movies or stories, TV shows, books, comic books, you have the hero who is the protagonist, and then you have the villain who is the antagonist. And it can be people, so usually the hero is some kind of person that we can identify with, and then we will have the like the protagonist's enemy, so it can be a person like in the Marvel movies. So you've got like Captain America, and then you've got the Red Skeleton or Red Skull or whatever his name is. So you have a good guy and a bad guy in a very simple way. But you can have the villain or the bad guy as like maybe aliens or something else like that. Just some kind of threat to the character that's going to make the show or the story more interesting. Next, if you just want to talk about saying that you like a particular show, you can say you're a fan of it, or you can say that you're into that show. So I'm not really into Game of Thrones. I'm not really a fan of something. And again, you can express these things in these more casual and conversational ways without saying, I like this or I don't like this. You can just say, I don't really like it. I'm not really a fan, or I'm really a fan of, I really like this particular show. Next, spoilers, or to spoil something. Now, the physical idea of spoiling means something to go bad. So you can have some food. If I leave some meat out on the table outside in the summertime for a long time, the meat will spoil actually pretty quickly. So it will get old and bad, and it just means it's not usable anymore. I wouldn't want to eat that. So you can have the same idea to spoil something for a movie, and you've probably heard this if you've ever watched a movie trailer and looked down in the comments. People will have something usually where they say like spoiler warning if they are going to give a review of the movie, because they don't want to ruin the movie or to spoil the movie for people who have not watched it yet. So if I'm watching a review of a movie, I just want to know, okay, what happens, but don't spoil it for me. Don't tell me what happens in the movie. And you can use this with your friends and other people you talk with about TV shows or movies. So if you're with a group of friends and they have seen some show before you have, you will often hear, you will see people kind of covering their ears. They will put their fingers in their ears and say, no, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for me. Don't spoil it for me. Now, back in the phrase builder lesson, I talked about being out of date. Now here in the Fluency Corner lesson, we're talking about staying up to date, staying current with a TV show. So if you're watching a show and you watch it every week, you can often describe this as you watch a show religiously. It means every week, right at that time, you have to watch it. You stop doing everything else and you really love watching that show. So you watch a show religiously, like it's, your church or something like that. So if you're saying I'm watching a show and I'm up to date, it means I've watched all the shows up to the previous one. So I've seen the TV show episode that comes out today and I'm waiting for next week. Now, if someone is behind, so you could say, I'm behind on this month's episodes because I haven't had time to watch them. So I watched last month's episodes, but I have not seen this one. So this month I am behind. And if you're moving from maybe being behind to being up to date, we call this getting caught up. So when you're caught up with a TV show, it means maybe you watched 3 or 4 episodes at one time so you could get caught up with the story so you know what's happening again. So you're behind, you're getting caught up, or you're up to date with something. Now this is the same thing, not just useful for TV shows, but anything where you're behind, like I'm behind on my work, or I'm behind on some project I'm doing, or I'm behind on reading some kind of book, some kind of homework that I have to do. So usually some kind of assignment or something that you have to do. I'm behind on my taxes. I'm behind on my payments. So I didn't actually pay for something when I should have. And now I'm behind. So now I'm getting caught up. So I'm trying to get back to where I should be to get up to date about a particular thing. Now, you'll also hear us talk about originals and exclusives. So original programming means a company that's producing their own shows, like Amazon. Instead of buying shows from other companies, they would produce their own. So the same thing with Netflix. Instead of having their own programming, they would produce originals. And when they have things like this, often they make these things exclusive. So this is exclusive content, meaning you can only watch it on their network. Exclusive. Next, you can talk about a show airing or a show coming on. So the phrasal verb is to come on. You can ask your friends, when does that show come on? Or when is it on? So when is it on TV or on whatever? But you can talk about the show is airing on a particular time. Usually the more professional industry term for that is to air a TV show, but casually and conversational, we talk about a show being on or coming on at a certain time. And related to this, you can talk about when did it come out. So coming out means the start of a TV show. So I could say, well, the show comes on. So I'm talking about when the episodes come on. Maybe the episodes come on every week at 7:30 on Wednesday. But the show came out 4 years ago. So the show has been running for 4 years. Now, for watching, as I mentioned before about being behind or getting caught up, you can also watch a whole bunch of episodes or a bunch of movies at the same time. We call this binge watching or a marathon session. So to have a movie marathon or a TV show marathon, just like you're running in a marathon, running for a long time. This is the relaxing, lazy version of the marathon where you're watching something just for a long period of time. Many things all together. A movie marathon or a movie binge session. Also, very quickly, we talked about the different mediums, the different media, the way these are distributed. So Netflix and things like Hulu or HBO Go, or if it is called HBO Go, different streaming services. These are things that are online. Kind of the like the evolution of these things, we used to have network television. So we still do, but network, usually these are just the main kind of TV networks in an area. And then we had cable, which is a specific kind of extra channels that you can buy if you have a hookup. So that we call this cable because it's physically connected by a cable. And then you have satellite, which is people using particular satellite dishes to have even more channels of things like that. But these are basically what we have now. So we have network, cable, satellite, and streaming. Now, we also talked about distribution rights. Distribution rights, to distribute something, is where can you play that particular show? So what network or what streaming service, and one company might have the right to play a movie or show a TV show on its network, but not have that for a different movie or TV show. The distribution rights. Finally, we have on the edge of my seat. On the edge of my seat. When you're on the edge of your seat, if you're watching a movie and you're kind of bored, or maybe it's not very interesting for you, you're kind of sitting back and enjoying it, but if something is really holding your interest, it's getting you very excited, you lean forward, you're on the edge of your seat, really excited about something. So this is the physical idea of that. And you can be, anytime you're really excited to see what happens or you're interested in something, you're on the edge of your seat. So even some friends of mine, will they get married? Will they not get married? They have just like an interesting relationship, and all of our friends are talking about that. What will happen? We're on the edge of our seat about that, the edge of our seat. Well, that's it for this lesson. I hope you have enjoyed it. The last thing I will leave you with is just really understanding about practicing with movies and TV shows. Learning with movies and TV shows is a great thing to do. The same way learning with books or even comic books as well. It's teaching you the vocabulary, but also teaching you a lot of the culture. So when you can spend time learning with movies and TV shows, that's great. Obviously, the best thing you can do with your time is learning with actual conversations, because when you learn with real conversations the way you do in a program like ours, you're actually getting to see real people talking. So in movies and TV shows, people have practiced things, they're scripted conversations, and you don't see lots of mistakes or people talking over each other as well or as kind of not well as we do naturally. So remember to mix all these different things the same way natives are learning. The more you can do things the way natives do, the more you will sound like a native. I'm Drew Badger, the founder of EnglishAnyone.com, and thanks so much for learning with me today. To discover hundreds more great ways to sound more native, improve your speaking confidence, and become more fluent, just do these 3 simple things right now. 1. Click on this link to subscribe to my YouTube channel for over 500 free videos. 2. Click on this link to download my #1 ebook guide to fast fluency free. And 3. Click here to watch the most popular video on English fluency here on YouTube.